I'm Alan.
And I'm Jake.
And welcome to Crimicide, the show where we do other things besides true crime.
Yep, this week we're taking a left turn away from the true crime we've been covering before, and we are discussing...
aliens.
Yep.
Last 2 weeks we did Elisa Lam and DB Cooper. Those videos are up on our channel. If you want to go check those out, we'd be grateful. But Jacob, do you believe in aliens?
I'm very iffy on it. The science says it has to be the case, right?
Yeah, I mean...
But you would think, all the supposed alien happenings and sightings and everything all took place anywhere from 20 to 50 years ago, for the most part. We don't have them as common as, today as we did 30 years ago, and now everyone's got a camera in their pocket ready to go. You'd think we would see stuff more often.
Yeah, everybody's got a camera ready to go, but when it comes to aliens, I always pick the shittiest camera.
Oh, I know.
No. I may not believe that aliens have been to Earth as often as people would like to believe, but, infinite universe, there's got to be other things out there. In this episode, we're talking about a very famous case of an extraterrestrial encounter called the Rendlesham Forest Incident. It's actually been called Britain's Roswell because of how popular it is. Now, I'm extremely skeptical when it comes to alien crap. I don't mean to discredit anybody, but it's just kind of unbelievable. Especially like when you watch shows that talk about how aliens have this sinister agenda, like, oh god, the aliens are gonna try to steal the sun. There's some weird shit like that.
Yeah, there's a lot that are just way out there, and it tends to make me a little bit more skeptical about it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of ufologists really kind of throw themselves under the bus with their just outlandish theories. But that aside, I'm putting away my bias because I do find the subject super interesting. So, without further ado, let's jump right into it.
In ufology, a close encounter of the second kind is described as a UFO sighting that leaves physical evidence such as a psychological effect on witnesses, physical markings on the ground, and/or a chemical or radioactive trace. This is not what U.S. Sergeant James Peniston and Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt were expecting when they were sent to investigate strange lights seen in Rendlesham Forest during the days between December 25th and 28th, 1980. The Cold War was in full swing, and Sergeant James Peniston was the on-duty flight chief in the Woodridge Base in Suffolk, England, when he received a call from security on the early morning of December 26th, 1980, telling him to meet up with two of the base's military police, Airman First Class John Burroughs and Staff Sergeant Bud Steffens. When they met, Burroughs and Steffens told Peniston that they had seen strange lights over the forest and worried something may be wrong. Peniston told Burroughs they should check it out. Steffens, however, was so shocked by what he had seen, he refused to join in the investigation.
So he was scared shitless.
Dude, right? I mean, what the hell do you see to terrify you? I mean, military men, in my personal experience, I've not been in the military. I've not been in the military. But I've known a lot of people that have been in the military, and from what I understand, these people are trained to be fearless. So one person being terrified is pretty fucking crazy.
Yeah, he was all about, nope, I'm not going near that. You can't make me.
Yeah, for sure.
Peniston, Burroughs, and Airman First Class Edward Cabansag
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, man.
A little off topic, but I cannot count how many times this man's name was misspelled in the articles I was reading. I actually had to go to Jim Peniston's personal website to figure it. It was even misspelled twice there.
Peniston, Burroughs, and Airman First Class Edward Cabansag got into their vehicle and drove to the forest, where they saw a bright light shining through the trees. Upon arrival, the three exited their vehicle and proceeded on foot towards the light where the strange occurrences began, starting with their radios malfunctioning.
That's always a red flag.
I know, right? But, it's the woods. I mean...
Yeah, but the radios start malfunctioning when you've already entered the woods. They should stop working when you enter the woods.
It's not entirely true. I mean,
there's spotty service out there, yeah, but...
Yeah, it's spotty.
Due to the malfunction occurring close to the light, Peniston ordered Cabansag to stay back closer to the vehicle to act as a communications relay. When Peniston got 50 meters away from the light, he could make out a strange metallic craft, quote, unlike anything I've ever seen working in the Air Force, end quote. As Peniston got closer, he could feel a static charge in the air and noted the deathly quiet in the area. He could also make the craft out in greater detail. He described it as a shiny black triangular craft, 3 meters in width and 2 in height. He stated, quote, the surface was smooth, almost like glass, end quote. He also said it was, quote, the size of a tank. White light was emitting from the top of the craft. Red and blue lights flashed alternatively from either side, end quote.
That is not an airplane they have in the Air Force.
It's like space police.
Oh, okay.
Space police. Yeah,
Excuse me, Space Police. Why are you here?
Yeah, that's pretty much the vibe I got. As soon as they said red and blue lights flashing, I immediately started thinking of Space Cop.
Peniston then took out his camera and proceeded to take enough pictures to use up a whole roll of film. These photos, unfortunately, could not be found.
Now, I will say, this case seems like it has so much evidence, but it's just fucking lost for some reason. Where are the pictures, Peniston? Where the hell are they? I want to see these. Email us. crimicideyt@gmail.com if you watch this.
That's a bit of a reach.
It is a bit of a reach. Speaking of reach, I actually tried to reach out to Jim Peniston for an interview, which would have been super dope for this episode, but he never responded. But if he ends up responding someday, I'll upload it somewhere. Count on it.
Peniston observed that the craft had no visible means of propulsion or even marks of conventional manufacturing.
So it looked like it didn't have an engine.
It was like, so imagine like if you took a single piece of metal and just molded it from that. That's kind of what I think of.
So it looked like a flying piece of garbage?
It looked like a flying piece of garbage. Yeah, sure, why not? But a very intentional flying piece of garbage.
Mm.
As he got closer, he noticed strange symbols etched onto the craft. He reached out and touched the craft, his hands gliding across the symbols, noting later that it felt like sandpaper in contrast to the smoothness of the rest of the craft.
How do you know it didn't say, like, go away in their language?
Go fuck yourself, is what they said in Alienese.
A bright white light then engulfed Peniston. When the light faded, the craft had left. These events were observed by Halt from afar, his accounts being recorded the entire time on what has now become known as the Halt tape.
This,
They physically have a tape?
they do. I
Oh.
found it too.
Ooh.
The original tape is 18 minutes long, and it's super difficult to find, but I did some digging. And I found a cut-down version that cuts out all like the empty noise and filler. And
It just has all the fun stuff.
yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and play that now.
Looking directly overhead, one can see an opening in the trees, plus some freshly broken pine branches on the ground underneath. Looks like someone came off about 15 to 20 feet up. Some small branches about an inch or less in diameter. 0148, we're hearing very strange sounds out of the farmer's barnyard animals. It's very, very active, making an awful lot of noise. Wasn't a pigmentation. You just saw a light where? Wait, where? Right in this position here, straight ahead, in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flash right there, sir. There it is. Hey, I see it too. What is it? We don't know, sir. So, can I get some of it? Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. Looks to be out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. I'm going to switch off. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again? Yes, sir. Oh, douse the flashlights in. Let's move out to the edge of the clearing so I can get a better look at it. See if you can get the star scope on it. The light's still there, and all the barnyard animals have gotten quiet now. Yeah, we're heading about 110 to 120 degrees from the site, out through to the clearing now. Still getting a reading on the meter. About 2 clicks. Meter's count 3 to 4 clicks, getting stronger. Now it's coming up. Hold up, there we go. About approximately 4 foot off the ground. Compass heading of 110 degrees. All right, I just turned the meter off. Gotta say that again. About 4 feet off the ground, about 110 degrees, getting a reading of about 4 clicks. Yes, sir. Yeah, but excuse me. Now it's dying. Now it's dying. I think it's something other than the ground. I think it's something variable here. Tree right over. We just spoke to the first night bird we've seen. We're about 150 or 200 yards from the site. Everything else is just deathly calm. There is no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead. There's yellow. I saw a yellow tinge in it too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. It's brighter than it has been. It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird. To the left. Yeah, definitely moving left. Two lights. One light to the front, one light to the left. Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange. Keep the headset on. See if it gets any stronger. Okay. Give us a rundown.
Notation that this is on the beta reading, too.
It's on the beta reading?
Beta
Okay.
still has been removed.
Okay. Pieces are falling off it again.
And it just moved to the right.
Yeah.
Off to the right.
Strange. Oh, why are you doing left? Let's approach to the edge of the woods up there. Can you undo without lights? Let's do it carefully. Come on. Okay, we're looking at the thing. We're probably about 200 to 300 yards away. It looks like an eye winking at you. It's still moving from side to side. And when you put the star scope on it, it sort of has a hollow center, a dark center. It's like the pupil of an eye looking at you and winking. And the flash is so bright to the star scope that it almost burns your eye. We passed the farmer's house and across in the next field. Now we have multiple sightings of up to 5 lights with a similar shape and all, but they seem to be steady now rather than a pulsating or glow with a red flash. We just crossed the creek, and we're getting what kind of readings now? Getting 3 good clicks on the meter, and we're seeing strange lights in the sky. 244, we're at the far side of the second farmer's field, and made sighting again about 110 degrees. This looks like it's clear out to the coast. It's right on the horizon. Moves about a bit and flashes from time to time. Still steady or red in color. Also, after negative readings in the center of the field, we're picking up slight readings, 4 or 5 clicks now on the meter. 305. We see strange strobe-like flashes to the rather sporadic, but there's definitely something, some kind of phenomenon. 305 at about 10 degrees horizon directly north. We've got 2 strange objects, half moon shape, dancing about with colored lights on them. But guessed to be about 5 to 10 miles out, maybe less. The half moons have now turned into full circles. As though there was an eclipse or something there for a minute or two. 315, now we've got an object about 10 degrees directly south, 10 degrees off the horizon. And the ones to the north are moving, one's moving away from us.
It's moving out fast. This one on the right heading away, too.
Yeah, they're both heading north. Hey, here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 330, or 0330, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around and heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground. 400 hours, one object still hovering over Woodbridge Base at about 5 to 10 degrees off the horizon, still moving erratic and similar lights and beaming down this earlier.
Now, what really sets this apart for me from all the other alien accounts is this is the only one where there's like an audio recording of a secondhand account, and that is super cool. Like a lot of alien sightings are usually like a really shitty photo or an equally shitty video.
Yeah, like the Phoenix lights.
Like the Phoenix lights.
Or the
We should investigate those someday.
absolutely.
Do an episode on those. Stay tuned.
Or if it's not really grainy, crappy pictures, then it's one-hand accounts, or like Travis Walton, it's his story.
Yeah, it's all kind of.
He has no audio or visual evidence.
It's all circumstantial, but
Exactly.
the Rendlesham Forest incident really stands out because it's got solid evidence.
Penniston later stated that he observed no occupants of the craft, but he could sense some sort of life inside. After his encounter, he noted everything he had seen in the journal he kept on him. He drew the dimensions of the craft, as well as the symbols he observed.
He remembered them all in extreme enough detail.
There's like, he did claim that there was some kind of alien magic happening, I guess.
Of course, why not?
Don't mean to offend you, Mr. Penniston. Please give me an interview.
Penniston would later claim to have flashes of ones and zeros in his mind. He decided to write them down in his journal. After documenting these numbers, he claimed the visions stopped. In a 2010 interview, the interviewer noted that the ones and zeros looked like binary code, which he promptly got to work deciphering. The alleged code states the following: exploration of humanity for planetary advance, followed by coordinates to various locations around the world. The code then goes to state, Eyes of Your Eyes, origin year 8100.
8,100.
Futuristic shit, man. Look, I don't know. I wasn't there.
The code also claims the origin place is the mythical island of Hy Brasil, a mysterious island that appeared on maps until the 1800s.
You've heard of Hy Brasil, right?
Yes, I have.
I really got into the legend of Hy Brasil, but apparently it's just kind of a big
Dead
mix
end.
of. It's not really dead end. It's just kind of a big collision of fact and fiction. Because there's people who claim that it never existed, period, and there are also people that claim, oh, the landmass is still there, just underwater. But it's basically, it's been called the Celtic Atlantis. Pretty cool.
Jim Penniston's claims have been met with its fair share of scrutiny and skepticism over the years. But what really happened on that cold winter night in 1980? What did Penniston and Holt really see in the darkness of Rendlesham Forest? I suppose some things will always remain a mystery.
Obviously, really interesting story. I may not be the most firm believer in extraterrestrial encounters, but the Rendlesham Forest incident has always stood out to me as just this really profoundly different kind of ordeal. It always just seemed like there was more meat to it than other UFO accounts.
Yeah, and the fact that there's audio proof of this event from a second party.
Yeah, audio proof. I really wish.
And that's something all other cases about UFOs and aliens don't have.
Yeah, I really wish we could somehow find those photos, but they're nowhere. I scoured the internet for a few hours to find these photos, but I guess
Did you dive into the dark web?
I didn't dive into the dark web. You think I want weirdos showing up at my house, knocking down my door, wearing masks, taking my kidneys to get to somebody somewhere else?
I mean, it's 2020. Nothing would really surprise anybody.
That's true. It is 2020. Honestly, I think if it wasn't a UFO craft, it could have just been some kind of natural phenomenon. Again, also,
There's a lot of detail. What kind of natural phenomenon do you think that would be?
there's a lot of shit out there, man.
Like, that wasn't a tornado.
Swamp gas.
That's always the go-to excuse. And it was in England. There's no swamps in England.
Hallucination.
They all collectively hallucinated.
Sure. Why not? Look, I don't know. I don't mean to discredit Penniston, but also this could have been just this case of, oh, this weird thing happened. Let's cash out.
True.
Don't hate me. But,
And
it's just one of those things.
not to also criticize him or any of the other people involved. It could have all been a complete hoax.
It's pretty much what I said. But yeah, it could have all been a complete hoax. All in all, very interesting though. Maybe it's not a hoax. But, I guess we'll never really know. Jim Penniston has his own website. The link will be in the description. He also has a book or two out there if you want to check that out too. There will be more episodes on extraterrestrials, and there will also be episodes in the future on ghosts and cryptids and more true crime crap you guys love so much. Yeah. You think the Men in Black are going to come find us?
I hope not, but, anything's possible.